All right, let's do it. I've been excited to talk about this. We didn't get to it yesterday. We wanted to give it prime billing today on a beautiful sunny Friday. Here's the deal. This is not about the source, okay? I understand all the things that Lane Kiffin, the head coach of Ole Miss, the former coach of Tennessee and USC, we all know what he is. That's not what this is about. SEC Media Days, he went on a rant about NIL, saying that the state of the sport of college football is, quote, a complete disaster. And he went on to talk about how NIL is nothing more than legalized cheating and how, quote, some schools simply directly pay the players because the states allow it, etc. Now, we're not going to go too deep into the weeds. If you want to understand why I completely disregard him as the source, well, Lane, unfortunately for you, your school is one of the schools that does that. There are videos of Lane Kiffin in a Maybach. There's one known bidding war. You know how we know about it? Because he outbid Michigan State. So, Lane, we don't need to hear from you in this regard. Now, let me just say this. This is red versus blue. This is as political as it gets. Rico is on the far left or right, whatever your persuasion is, and I'm on the other. There is nothing centrist about this. And it is about college football. So here's how I've lined this up. With Lane Kiffin's remarks, I happen to totally agree with Lane, even though Lane is a scumbag. I do agree. You know how I feel. My love for college football is waning. Here's how I've described it. If your team, Mike, me, NIL is like the manifestation of all greed that has destroyed our sport. The interest is waning for me. Traditions are dead. Conferences make no sense. Everything's for TV, and nothing good has happened in years. But if you're Team Rico, it's different. Every negative I list, he's going to spin it as a positive because he feels differently, which is coaches are crybabies. Step up and do your job. Step up and be more. Embrace the future, you old bleeps. Sport is headed for NFL light status, and Rico is here for it. Look, we have a divide. This is the floor of Congress. We have a divide.
A little bit.
I want to know which side of this you are on. Because I'm not debating that, Rico, I'm not debating. Lane Kiffin is not the person to deliver this message.
He is the wrong person.
Right.
To deliver
But the message still, in my world, is true.
Elon Musk speaking for poor people.
There you go. Kenny on Black Affairs. So I just...
The Black History Moment.
The Black History Moment by Kenny. I really want to hear from the people. We are, 40 days from college football?
Yeah, around there.
I want to know where you're at with it because now you're starting to hear, and it's a separate topic. We'll get to it later. Greg Sankey of the SEC saying Congress needs to step in on NIL. Rico and I have a common ground. We know there needs to be rules to NIL. Both you and I are very pro-player. We want them to be paid. But this nonsense is exactly that. It's complete nonsense. The portal is complete nonsense. The conferences, this is me speaking for me, conferences are nonsense. Hey, guys, anyone excited about the newest Big Ten members? Wait, USC and UCLA?
Geographically, it makes zero sense.
MSU giving up a home game for the Peacock. Doesn't make any sense. But
it does when the Peacock is starting to be king.
And that's where I wanted to segue into your spiel. You believe it's going to be NFL light. You're into it.
Yeah.
2 big power conferences, brand names, Blue Magic, floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, it's not just college football. It's sports. 2 of the 3 Tigers games this weekend will be streaming. Apple TV and Peacock. This is where the sports are going. The traditional, I watched the game on Channel 2 and Channel 62, that's gone, okay? It's evolved. And I like the fact that the transfer portal, Because the reason why guys like Lane Kiffin don't like it and SEC coaches don't like it, because you used to be able just to go ahead, go on a recruiting trip, get the guy to commit to your school, lie to him, say whatever you want. Once he committed, he's locked in. He can't go anywhere. He's stuck. You can treat him like garbage. Now, Lane doesn't like it. Lane's got to do his job. Lane's got to make sure that kid's happy. He's got to be the concierge. Hey, anything I can do to make your stay here happier? Yeah, coach, I like to play. Well, that's not going to happen. Okay, I'm leaving. And Lane, to say all of this, and I know we're not just talking about him. No. Just like 34 transfer portal kids came in. So for somebody who doesn't like this, man, he sure plays the game awful well. The portal, Mike, is needed because it levels the playing field, because the rich don't always get richer, because just because you went to a school like Alabama or Georgia, and now you're like, I don't want to sit behind 5 different people. I could go to another school and play instantly and maybe even star on that team. That's going to help bring it down so we don't always have to see the same teams over and over again in the college football playoffs.
Yeah, the problem is the rich do get richer. I mean, Georgia's portal haul. Hey, Mississippi State, going to take your best player. Hey, Missouri, going to take your best player. No, Kenny, I'm not mad. I'm saying I don't think it levels anything. I think it's just the same as it ever was.
No, it does, because when you look at this, the biggest position is quarterback. And it's hard to keep 2 quarterbacks on a team now. So what do we talk? Why do we say that this is Michigan's best shot at winning? Because they actually have a quarterback that's been around for a while. Bama's breaking in a new one. Ohio State's breaking in a new one. Georgia's breaking in a new one.
Those guys all got drafted.
No, they did. But because it used to be Alabama, okay, well, man, Jalen Hurts just left the team. That's okay. We got Tua. You could just replace it.
Yeah, you mean like how it's supposed to be.
Right. You can't do that anymore.
Well, and once again, I don't like it.
Because with the quarterback, all right, well, I got beat out. I'm leaving.
Right, whatever
I'm going someplace else.
I'm going to act like a baby. Whatever happened to earning your keep?
You can now play.
You can now play immediately. My point is,
it's free agency,
It's
Mike.
the Wild West. And
it's free agency.
And I don't have to like it.
You don't. But it's not going anywhere.
But that's fine. But here's what's happening. I am. And I think there's a lot of people like me that are going somewhere. I do not spend my money on college football anymore.
You don't spend your money, but you give it your time and you still watch it.
You know what's funny? I do a small, I don't know if you're aware of it, I do a small thing called a radio show.
Even if you didn't do a radio show, Mike, you would still watch college football.
You can't. No, you cannot say that. You can't.
Mike, I've known you for a long time.
Yeah, I know.
Don't start lying to me today.
I'm not lying to you today.
You would be watching college football.
Rico, the way I watch this sport, compared to when I was 25 or 30 versus now, no, I watch because it has purpose in my life. The actual sport does not represent what it is. It doesn't make any sense anymore. Texas, the jewel of the Big 8 and the Big 12, is now, wait for it, in the SEC. We've got the ACC trying to violate a charter so that Miami can, wait for it, join the Big 10. We have USC joining the Big 10. I can't.
Because, well, first of all, once you start collecting those $100 million checks per school, yeah, you're going to do what the networks want you to do.
Right, so TV runs the sport
it does.
The way the NFL has.
It does.
And I don't have to be interested.
But I still, I still think you would be interested. I still think you would watch. To me, it's like the people who swore up and down, oh, I'm never going to watch the NFL again. Yeah, the NFL didn't go away. You still watch.
And again, it's not an all or nothing. But I think when you talk about something that's hard to quantify, like passion, I can tell you that the passion quotient is not there.
The passion wanes for some, but for you leaving, it's like season tickets. You give up your season ticket. There's somebody out there that likes this and is willing to buy your old seats. It's like, this is great.
I'm pretty sure they're still empty.
No. You know what?
I'll tell you what, I won't hit the button. 248-539-9797. Guys, Lane Kiffin on the state of college football. Quote, it's a complete disaster. If you're Team Rico, you're saying, no, you're stuck in the past. This is actually going to be the NFL 2.0. If you're Team me, you just miss what the sport is about. And I'm not going to die on the hill of one singular thing. It's all of it. Rico and I always make jokes. I haven't liked a single thing that's happened in college football in about 5 years. No. And it's the idea that the NCAA punted on any rules with NIL or portal. The idea there's no college football commissioner. Conferences, forget about, hey, you want the money. I know that. And money can be about most things. You can't destroy the relevance geographically of your sport for money. You can't.
That left a long time ago.
Can't.
I get where you're
Not
coming.
Like this.
Yeah,
This is chaos.
Every school has a private plane. You could fly back and forth. You're right. It makes no sense that when you're watching USC versus Penn State, like, it's a regular season game.
But I'll give you the other thing. I don't have a problem with players getting paid. But you know what a lot of fans are going to have a problem with? A lot of fans are going to have a problem that a 19-year-old kid is driving a $300,000 car and they're struggling to pay their mortgage and watch a college student play a sport. Now, paying a player is one thing. Mm-hmm. But when you have mediocre offensive linemen driving, name it, a Tahoe, driving a Denali, I'm sorry. I think there's a segment of college football fans that becomes offensive to a point. The NFL, we don't care. These dudes paid the price. They are the best at what they do. They were drafted to play professionally. We have now crossed a line, Rico, and you know way more about it than I do because you have such high and mighty connections in the EL and the recruiting circle. You know what I'm talking about. We've lost cabin pressure. Look, if the starting quarterback at Georgia, like Stetson Bennett, you won a natty, you're back. I don't care. I don't care what you drive. I don't care if they gave him a tank. Mm-hmm. You've earned it. We got nobodies taking the bag to go to school. They haven't done a thing. I find it stupid. I can't lie to you.
I'm going to tell you why that's an incorrect statement next.
Tell it now.
No.
We have time.
Next. 97.1.
Well, that's just, you know what? I'll throw the number out. 248-539-9797. What is your stance on what Lane Kiffin said? Beyond Rico and I arguing about it, is the state of college football, quote, a complete disaster? Start with that. We'll get your take on it and Rico's tease next. 97.1.